my mind has been blown by how many people have reached out to me recently telling me about all the money they've made selling Magic cards, because the money's out there. And I knew talking about the opportunity there is for everybody to sell Magic cards and trading cards in general, but we talk about Magic cards here, that some people might listen, maybe it'd influence and help some people turn their collection into cash and to potentially a bigger collection or into whatever. But I've been blown away by the response and the reactions, and the people have reached out to me. And so I want to invest in this. I want to share more of these tips. And to do that, we have a special guest today, Zwins MTG. And I am stoked to have the opportunity to share the kind of top 10 5 me, 5 him tips on how we're going to build our channel. So, Zwin, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
All right. Hey, folks. I'm Brandon, and I'm the voice and the hands behind Zwin's MTG pack opening content on YouTube. So I came across Nick's channel couple months ago, I guess, and learned so many tips, especially from the selling standpoint. And for me, I'm opening, and I need an avenue to get rid of the things that I don't want to keep. So I learned a lot of things from Nick. I mainly sell on Manipool, but I sell on TCG Player as well. So a lot of this stuff goes hand in hand, no matter the platform. But you want me to get into the top 5, Nick?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to start? Number 1.
All right. Number one thing that I wish I knew when I started was go ahead and buy your supplies in bulk. I mean, just do it. You're going to need it. There's no expiration date on that stuff. It's not going to go bad, even if it takes you longer to get through it. Just go ahead and do it, because you'll save tons of money over time by buying it in bulk. So that was my number one thing. I've since learned that.
Yeah. Question for you, Zwin, is at what point, so for the people who are just getting into selling, they don't know if they like it yet. At what point did you knew that you liked it, that you could feel comfortable buying supplies in bulk?
I think for me, it was just once I started seeing consistent sales, and every day getting those emails of you made a sale. I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I think you've talked about it, and it's just so easy to sit down and put the earbuds in and listen to some content. I would have done that anyway, and I'm just sitting there pulling orders and packing envelopes. I mean, and I get to shuffle through Magic cards while I'm doing it. So win-win.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. If you pack a few orders and you're not having fun, it might not be for you. But yeah, it's funny that we had the kind of the same experience just getting started, and then like, okay, this is something I want to do. My not in any particular order for my list, but the first one that came to my mind was worrying about scammers and worrying about packages going missing. And I see this quite a bit, and I think, I don't know, I imagine it's because it's like a flashy thing. It grabs your attention to hear like, oh, but there's scammers out there and your packages will go missing, and that pulls at the heartstrings, because that's you putting in effort and shipping your cards, potentially valuable cards. I mean, if you don't have tracking on that $20 card, which you probably don't, I don't know if that's one of my tips. I think it is, but don't put tracking on your relatively cheap cards, and then it goes missing, and it does happen. But the thing is that it just hasn't happened to me. And I see stories and I see people talk about like, oh, I started selling and in my first 20 orders, 2 of them went missing. And that was not the case for me. I've sold over 10,000 orders on TCG Player, and I've had a very small number go missing. I could be a more organized person. I've made more mistakes about like missing a card in an envelope than I've had my packages go missing. So that is to say is that, like, as a seller going into it, like if I had advice from my past self, it would be hey, be more careful packing your orders. Don't assume that it's the customer that's like lying and trying to scam you. It's actually you as a seller that might be messing up. And so all that is to say is that there's a lot of things you can stress about and worry about as a brand new seller. But go for it. Sell some cards. They'll get there. Don't let that hold you back.
That's good. That's good advice. I had one a couple weeks ago that I use TCG tracking now, and that's just for my peace of mind, just so that I know. And I saw that it went all the way to Sacramento, which I'm on the East Coast, so it went coast to coast. And they said, nope, it didn't make it. I was like, oh, it says it was there. And the next day, it's in my mailbox, returned to sender. It went all the way out there, and they said, nope, non-machinable, and sent it all the way back. Like obviously it was machinable.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you're right. Like you can't really worry about that. I think I'm knocking on 800 orders at this point between both platforms, and I've probably lost about four, questionable where are my order things. Um, Really, that was mainly on one platform and one certain TCG. So
Mm.
One Piece for some reason was the culprit. I sell
Oh,
some of
funny.
those with my son. So yeah,
Yeah. Who would have known?
yeah.
No, that is interesting. What about all right, number 2. What you got for us?
Um, Thermal printer for your tracked packages. So I started out just printing out on 4x6 labels on my inkjet, just the two per sheet thing, and it was just a pain in the butt. Like it was just an ordeal. Like I don't know, it was just crazy. And then I came across somebody that recommended one of those little. I think it was like $80 on Amazon, and that thing is just a time saver. I mean, I use Pirate Ship to do my orders. That's another tip if you don't know, there's discounts out there from places like that. But you know, you could just it's just so easy as far as the workflow is. So that if I had known when I started, I would have done that from the get go.
Yeah, absolutely. There's like 2 pro tips you had in there, which the one is the discounted shipping and the shipping services
Mm,
online. Like when I just got started, I just Googled like online shipping and Shippo came
yeah.
up, which Shippo is pretty good. The problem is if you do more than like 30 labels a month, they want you to pay a
Mm,
subscription. And so I remember I was in a Discord server and I just asked like, "What do y'all use for shipping?" And everyone's like, "Well, Pirate Ship, duh." But I didn't know, So
yeah.
if you're brand new, you'll pay extra if you take stuff to the post office and use their like self-serve machine. You're going to pay more than you have to using a service like pirateship.com. And then, of course, the thermal label printer is incredible. You can even set up. There's actually a tool. I'm not going to get into it here, but there's a tool that I'm going to talk about where somebody just made like an online app where you can put down. I think this is mostly helpful for, oh, I guess it could be helpful for Manipool too, but you put down your address and you upload the packing forms, and it will give you the 6-inch by 4-inch, your address, their address, a spot for your stamp. And so you can print
Mm,
those out of your thermal label printer if that's one way to do it. I think I prefer the um, kind of windowed envelope. I've got, I'm not going to dox somebody. Anyways,
mm.
the windowed envelope, and then you fold the packing slip and put it in. That's another
Yeah,
semi
that's,
pro
that's what
tip.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thermal label printer is incredible for lots of use cases. Right. So the fourth thing we're talking about, my number 2 on the list is the more you list, the better off you are. And I've
Absolutely.
yeah, I've heard lots of sellers talk about this. I think this is like well known for everyone who's been doing this. They know it. For people who haven't done this, you might not know that the more cards you list, the easier it is to sell cards. And just to make it crystal clear, the first 10 cards you list, by the time you list your 1,000th card, the odds of the first 10 cards you listed selling go up quite a bit. And
Yeah.
so just list. List more cards. Even there's a lot of people that are successful with like low value cards. I personally don't do a lot of that, but even if you're just listing, like 30, 40 cent whatever cards, listing more is going to help you sell through and make more money.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got from you, and I started doing that with some precons, and it was like an unlock. It was actually it was a little overwhelming, and you're going to talk about one of the pitfalls that I ran into here in a little bit. So, but the precons that basically inflated my inventory with all these other staple cards, that they were buying my big hits because at that time I was just listing anything that was over $2 or so. I wasn't listing everything, and it was basically like the candy at the checkouts. It was just this little add-on. Oh, I'm buying this $5 card. I might as well pick up this, 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 and this. But then also the card optimizer starts going to work for you when you have a wider uh, array of unique items. So anyway, yeah, great tip.
Love it. All right, what you got next?
Another one that I got from you, I didn't even know it was a thing. Basically, ink printers that do not use cartridges. So basically, like the Echo Tank or the tank printers that have the refill bottles. Oh my gosh! I mean, it didn't take long for me once I started selling to basically run through a couple black ink cartridges, and they're like 30, $40 a pop or whatever. But I think the one that I got is the one that you recommended in your description on Amazon, and I think you get like 6,000 black and white printouts on one bottle of ink. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway, save yourself some money and get one of those printers. Don't be using those ink cartridges. But I know that's why a lot of people use the thermal printers for their invoices as well. I mean, I've received orders where folks are doing that. They're just super tiny, but it gets the job done when you're required to have an invoice printed in there. So,
Yeah.
but that was a big tip. I mean, and really, the cost of the printer itself. Um, Paid for itself, over maybe 3 or 4 months of ink cartridge cost. So great
Yeah.
tip.
Yeah, I spent I think $1,000 in 2025 on ink cartridges. And so
Yeah, I would have been right there with you had I not saw your video.
oh man. Well, I'm so glad. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure if this stuff gets through to anybody. I wouldn't know. You wouldn't know unless you get this kind of feedback. So it's really good to have
Mm,
you as one.
yeah.
The next thing I had on my list is don't sell cards too cheap. And there's a couple. I guess there's two views. I have two opinions on this. First is that if you sell cards really cheap, and in my opinion, really cheap is below 30 cents. I don't sell cards below 40 cents personally, but if you sell a card for 10 cents, or I guess actually I'll tell my buddy's story because this is like the best example of this. Somebody was selling Meteor Golem Magic card for 1 cent each. They had 500 copies. My buddy was like, I'll take the lot. Bought 500 Meteor Golems for 1 cent each. So spent $5 on this transaction. Gets free shipping from TCG Player because he spent over $5. The seller had to like get one of those 500 count BCW whatever card boxes, load it with 500 Meteor Golems, get a shipping label on there. That now shipping labels cost more than $5. Back then I think you could get away for like 460 or whatever. At the end of the day, the seller lost money. The seller lost money selling 1 cent card, and that's an exaggerated, although real, that really happened. But the point is, like, make sure you're pricing stuff so that you're not losing money, so you're not wasting your time. And ideally, price your stuff so that every time you get a sale, like even when I sell a 40 cent card on TCG Player, I'm still like, sweet. Like, I know they're paying an extra $1.50 for shipping and whatever. And it doesn't take too much time. Like you said at the beginning, I'm just listening to a video. Like, it's so flexible that the time isn't, I'm not thinking to myself like, oh, this is a waste of time. I'm packing a 40-cent card. I'm thinking, sweet, I'm making some more money. It's not a ton of money, but I'm making some money. And just make sure your pricing aligns with that so that you don't ever ship a card and think to yourself like, well, I just wasted some time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and I adopted that uh, uh, once I got my inventory wide enough, you know. But when I started, I was sitting there, you know, being the low list on every single that I had listed because I felt like I had to, you know. But now I don't have to, and it feels a whole lot better to just kind of set it and forget it, and then those I still get plenty of sales. I have a 40, well, some 35, 40. I've kind of raised it to 40. I had it at 35. Um, but I still get plenty of the movement on those cards. But, you know, do I get, if I get like a 10 item order and they're all 35 or 40 cents, I'm a little like, this is going to take a second, you know. Um, but for the most part, it's like, one or two good ones and then those are sprinkled in and that feels pretty good, you know, like you said, it's some time, but also if you're thinking margins, you know, that's the best margins and probably percentage wise is on those bulk cards that are going out the door for 40 cents. So
Yeah.
but it's better for the buyer, you know, because that card optimizer is finding the least amount of packaging, so you're saving on postage. So it ends up a win-win. But the whole thing that unlocks that is going wider on your inventory. So
Well
yeah.
said. All right. What's next? What's on your list?
All right. I'm up. This one I just learned like 2 weeks ago. And so I learned, well, let me back up. I learned from this channel about the extra ounce stamp. And basically, I was going to the post office and she would put one on there for me. I didn't know they would sell me a book of those bus stamps, right? So I was like, hey, I want a book of those so I can just do it. So I started doing that. Well, lo and behold, they actually have a 2 ounce stamp. So you just have to stick one stamp on there and you get the same effect as the forever stamp and the bus stamp. And I think it's like a dollar 11 each. So I don't know if they're going to change the price on those, but right now that I think is 2 cents less than what the forever stamp and the bus stamp is. So and plus it just saves a little bit of time. I mean, and at the end of the day, we all need that um, to just affix one stamp instead of two. But it just
Yeah.
looks cooler.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and in case you're not if you haven't sold anything or shipped anything recently, you might not know that you of course need for a regular envelope, you need a forever stamp. You need the like now it's like 82 cents or something like that worth of
Yeah, yeah.
postage to mail anywhere within the US. And then if your package is like an ounce or more, and I say an ounce or more, I think it's technically more than an ounce, but I've had packages get returned that were basically an ounce. So if my package weighs an ounce, I always end up putting the forever stamp and then an extra ounce stamp. But as Win has pointed out, there are 2 ounce stamps. There's more cost effective, clever ways to do it. What I was doing originally was putting on two forever stamps, which was
Mm.
the least cost effective way to do that. But yeah, take some time, learn something about postage and how it works and stuff, and you can end up saving a lot of money.
Yeah, and it kind of like acquainted with the people that work the postage counter. You know, a little bit of honey goes a long way. You know, in that relationship, just build that relationship. So I'll
Yeah,
just point that at.
that's another pro tip, especially if you Pokey Pastor talked about this. He had to go into his local post office and actually like sit down with them to teach them. They got out, I guess they have a tool. So cuz you might say like, "Oh, you pack a card in an envelope, it's rigid and so it's non-machinable, and therefore it needs extra postage." But they have like a thing in the post office that like the postmaster has where it's like if the envelope can go through it, then it is machinable and it's safe. And these go through it, like a top load or whatever envelope will go through it. And so Pokepaster has talked about that. But yeah, just to your tip, Zwin, is like if you're struggling with your post office, you might have to go in there and talk to them and be very cordial, of course. And yeah, it's good stuff. My next tip, which I don't know where we're at, like 7 or 8, somewhere around there, is sorting your cards. And sorting is worth it. Um,
Uh,
this is easiest, and I recommend this for people getting new into selling anyway, is like buying commander decks, buying commander precon decks and breaking them down and selling singles. You have to be careful. You can't buy any commander deck and break it down and make money, but there are some you can. And it's the easiest to sort with those cards because they're all in the same set. And I guess this is
right.
true for any box break or whatever. Like right now, I think Marvel Superheroes Jumpstart is still inverted expected value, last I checked at least. And so, if you buy a bunch of those, they're all the same set. You can sort them alphabetically, and that's going to line up with TCG player. Zwin, does it work on Mana Pool too? Is it like alphabetical sort when you get
You
your
can.
packing slip? Do they?
So I actually switched to TCG Tracking's packing slip, so I can customize how my packing slip is ordered, and I order it by set and then by alphabet. So that lines up with the way that I have my boxes sorted.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how most, like, I think most platforms are going to have set and alphabetical. And
Mhm.
taking the time to do that, it gets harder if you're buying collections. If you're buying collections that have cards from, one card from every set in the past 15 years, uh, I guess what I do is I sort by color, and then I also separate foils. And I don't have too many cards. Like I have about 2,000 cards in my inventory, which sounds like a lot, but most of them are split out by set. And then I basically have these kind of chaotic boxes that are sorted by color. Um, and anyways, just taking that time to sort your inventory, making sure there's a system that works for you. When you're packing orders, taking the time to grab all the cards first, getting the pull sheet, sorting out those cards, and then, you print your packing slips, you get the packing slip one at a time, grab from your already curated pile of cards. These processes are what's going to save you time, what's going to make it as enjoyable as possible. It's still kind of work at the end of the day to pack orders, but if you have a system, if your cards are organized, it can just go smooth.
Yep. 100%. Yeah.
Good deal.
And I didn't do a good job of that when I blew my inventory up. So it was really easy when I was just taking, the stuff that I was opening from sealed product and oh, I have this from this set and that from that set. And then when I discovered the pre-con game, that's when I realized, oh, I went a little too fast. I had to go back and get it wrangled in because I was spending way too much time hunting to pull for the order. So anyway, yeah, everything that you do up front will pay yourself back tenfold.
Love it. What you got
Yeah.
next on your list? This is your fifth thing, right?
This is my last thing. Yeah. And I didn't realize that this would have been something to do because honestly, I didn't see myself doing as much online business as I am. But get a PO box for your return address. So I was just sending everything out with the return address to my house, which is no big deal if you're selling, a couple here and there. But once I started packing, 50 to 75 a week, I was like, okay, maybe I should do that, So yeah, just a little tip. It's not that expensive. You can pick one up, and then it's just peace of mind, so that you've got that. Um, but I think the one bonus tip that I wanted to throw out there, if anybody's watching this and you want to really up your game, join some good Discord servers with people, and that's what I've picked up, through Nick's server, through some other servers. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Like there's people out there that have done this. They have the experience. They have the tricks and tips. seek them out, and they are more than happy to share. I mean, that's what my experience has been. So that's my bonus tip.
Nice. No, I love it. It's true. I mentioned earlier that I learned about pirate ship from Discord servers, and so that
Yeah.
truly is a great idea.
Mhm.
The last thing I wanted to touch on was the process of protecting a card. And I I have cut corners in the past, and I have learned because packages got returned to me, and as I opened them, I was like, "Oh, this is a really crappy experience opening the way that I packed this. I
Mhm.
better improve, I better fix that." And so what I've come to, and this feels good now, every time I've opened something that's gotten returned to me, which doesn't happen very often, see tip 1, but when it does happen, it's a card in a penny sleeve, in a top loader, in a team bag. And it feels ridiculous. It's a lot. But it works and it's not very expensive, especially C's Wins tip. If you buy stuff in bulk, it is not very expensive. It's like a penny for each of these pieces, essentially.
Right.
And so, you're spending whatever, 3 cents on packaging, but it is safe. It is solid. It is secure. And so I would recommend, if I could go back in time and talk to myself right when I was starting to really pick up selling, that's what I would talk about. Well,
Nice.
we've done it. We've touched on 10 things we wish we knew day one. Um Swin, thanks for coming on. Is there any last thing you want to like to share or touch on with the audience before we call it a day?
I mean, if you haven't checked out Zwin's MTG and you like watching Magic Pack openings, go check me out. We just crossed over 500 subs last week, on our way to 1,000, and you know, I just really appreciate everybody's support and encouragement. And like I said, the community, Nick's channel, the server, the Discord server has been super helpful, and just learning more about it. So yeah, check me out if you can. I launched my Patreon page today, so that's new and exciting.
Well, that is
Yeah,
exciting. Good deal.
yeah,
Yeah, I want to recommend your channel as well. You've said many kind words to me. My turn to repay the favor, but it's high
mhm,
quality stuff. When I watch a pack opening video, I want to see the prices of things, and I want it to be engaging and interesting. And your channel makes all those things. So I think you've done incredible work. Everyone should check
thanks.
out Zwin's NTG. Thanks all for watching, tuning in. Let us know what you think in the comment section. We'll take a look. And yeah, have a great day. Peace out.
See you.